This lecture is about the power of the hidden power of economic calendar events in day trading gold. And so, for my followers or people who tend to follow me, knows that this year been more focused on gold because when you trade too many pairs, it gives you less time to be able to analyze properly from A to Z. And you see, for you to win in this game, you really have to understand like where is price coming from, is it like, what has it rebalanced or done there, and what time are you like? There's so much to deal with that. When you're focusing on too many pairs, it won't give you that ability to be able to understand what's going on. So under this lecture, we're going to be talking about the interest rates. We're going to talk about the real yields. We're going to talk about the US dollar strength, the tier two events, liquidity engineering, and the three phases of news move, and also how to use the calendar to to trade gold professionally. So my name is Rocky Calvin, and welcome to Cash Line Trading. And that being said, uh, I've already done a video about market review about gold, where I would like us, to open. I'm had to, and hope you guys will check that video out. And last week I traded news, and I realized some people were kind of like, how, like, they've always told you that trading news is, is dangerous. Yeah, I understand because of the volatility, but if you truly understand price action, and you're very keen on marking levels, and you highlight them before news, like if this get attacked here first, you attack the opposing side, and if just that mechanism. So that being said, why is gold sensitive? Some people think that gold is just a metal, but in real sense, gold is a monetary asset. So, and its intraday movement is most of the time driven by expectations around interest rates and inflation, US dollar strength, and risk sentiments. So that means that economic calendars or economic calendar events is always the fuel for volatility. So key drivers usually come from Federal Reserve, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and Bureau of Economic Analysis, and European Central Bank. Now, these institutions, they usually release data that reprices gold instantly. So the core mechanism why news moves gold is it usually reacts through three transmissions or three channels, which have you know typed over here. We have the interest rates. So some people still don't know. Okay, a lot of traders don't know how to read interest rates, and how they can trade them. So if rates are expected to rise, then this will simply means that gold will fall. I want you guys to understand that the way interest rates works is this way. If a country has a higher interest rates, it's going to be attracting a lot of investors. So, for example, if US dollar has a higher interest rate, a lot of investors are going to be running to that specific country to invest because they want higher returns. Okay, so when they go to, especially to US, to invest in that country, that simply means that the dollar is going to be rising. And when the dollar is rising, what do you expect? Gold gotta go down because gold is competing against what? The dollar. So if rates are expected to rise, gold is going to fall. If rates are expected to drop, then gold is going to rise. Okay? It explains so much what Trump has been doing recently. Just as simple as such. If rates are going higher, gold is falling. And if rates are expected to drop, then the gold is going to be what? Rallying. Now, this data should be backed by technical analysis because I'm purely a technical analysis trader. Although news is important, but I barely even think about news. But I just thought, okay, it's better if I also talk about this so that traders who are interested in in economic calendar events and so on should also get something from this channel. So the reason why this usually happens is because gold is a non-yielding asset. That's the reason why when interest go higher, gold is falling. So apart from that, let's go to to real yields. So gold will move, inversely to real yields and not just nominal yields. So, for example, if yields are falling, then gold is going to be bullish. So if you see data that yields are falling, for example, in the US, just know that gold is going up. When you go to number three, that is the US dollar strength, it's the same thing. If gold is going down, the dollar is going to be going up. And if the dollar is going up, gold is going to go down. It's as simple as this. If USD, if USD, sorry, if USD is let's say USD is going where are these tools? Let me find some tools here. I used to have some tools here. Okay, where is it now? I can't really find what I wanted to use here for elaboration. Maybe I think I should think of something next time, to make it more understandable. But just get it as this: when US dollar is rising, meaning that it is gaining strength, gold is automatically going to be going down. Like that's just the correlation of US dollar strength, and that's how it affects gold. Okay. So, for example, if right now the dollar, or for example, if the best way to counter check is, counter check this is using DXY. DXY is the dollar index. It represents the dollar. Whenever it rises, then gold is going to be doing the opposite of that. So that is how you can use these very three transmission channels in the core mechanism of economic calendar events. So when you leave that, we also have tier 2 events, but also I forgot to give you guys, we are supposed to be having also tier 1 events. So we're supposed to be having tier 1 events. So tier 1 events are going to be things like NFP, the one we traded last week. So tier 1 events are going to be things like NFP, CPI, that is inflation, FOMC rate decision, FOMC press conference. We have core PCE and interest rate projections. Those are the Taiwan uh, events, and they're the serious market moving ones. These ones, this CPI. Let me write this somewhere here. For example, the CPI. Then we also have a FOMC. Then we have something like we have like not NFP, also NFP, and interest rate, and so on. So these ones are the Taiwan events, and this one, they are the market moving ones. They often move markets seriously. So when you go to tier 2 events, in tier 2, we're going to be having things like GDP and retail sales, and things like unemployment claims, and they're usually, if you go to Forex Factory, you'll be able to access all this data to know the date they're going to be read after understanding how they affect the gold, how they work or how they affect gold market. So tier 2 events, we just have things like GDP. Let me also put here GDP. Let me have some GDP here. GDP. Sorry. Then you also have something like we have this. Is it SIM? Yeah, I think we had the GDP SIM or PMI. We also have retail sales, ADP. Employment. ADP employment. We have things like ISM, PMI. So these are the tier 2 events. And we also have tier 3. So tier 3, okay, tier 2 events are actually, the momentum drivers. They just give momentum. But tier 1 are the real movers, FOMC, NFP, the meetings, FOMC press conference. These are the real movers in the market. But now when it comes to, tier 2 events, these are now GDP, ADP, employment, unemployment claims, things like that. And these are just momentum drivers. But we also have tier 3, which is now the context builders. Now, tier 3 are things like JOLT, job openings, uh, things like housing data, consumer confidence. Now, that is going to be under tier 3. Okay. So these are the three ingredients that can give you, like, you'll be able to know whether the market is really going to be moving so aggressively based on the type of news that is going to be, right? But yeah, sometimes, uh, these momentum drivers can also make the market really, really, really aggressive because they are all red news. So I've talked about retail sales. They fall under tier 2 events. uh, CPI, FOMC, tier 1. Then tier 3, tier 3 are just context builders. These are, consumer confidence, JOLT, housing data. Now, tier 3 events, they just set up the bias, not necessarily volatility, but they're going to set up the bias for you to note whether we are going up or down. So the hidden power most traders usually miss is that the real move is not the news; it is the deviation from expectations. So the market usually cares about actual versus forecast. Okay. Now, I want us to talk about now the liquidity engineering here. This video is going to be a little bit long. If I want to be able to put everything in this video, I'll be able to do another one, so that we can be able to go step by step. When we talk about liquidity engineering, before major news, price usually compresses. Then it starts ranging. Then stop hands occur. People get being stopped out, and most of the time this is not random. Like, it is always positioning for expansion. So once people have been stopped out, that's when now the real move gonna happen. But they're always a different, no, the three faces of news move, which I'm gonna be discussing later. And there's also another factor that affects, when we talk about liquidity engineering. We have the concept of time cycles. So most of the time, London session, you'll find gold will always move to its intraday move at after at London session after red news, and New York open after data, then post FOMC expansion. Now, this usually fits perfectly with time and price models, that I've been teaching here. And the characteristics are all the same: accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Accumulation is a tight range. You see, like, I don't. Let me see if I can show you guys example of accumulation. Accumulation is a very tight range. Okay, like what was happening here. Uh, I'm not sure if this was news. This drop here, I'm not really sure if this was news, but accumulation is something like this. So we opened right here. Let me remove this one so that you can have a cleaner chart. So we opened right here. Okay, we opened right here, and you see we be just accumulating, creating liquidity all here. So a smart money trader will understand that there's something cooking here, because if we take over half a day just ranging, and you see it is just taking people out. For example, over here, people were maybe sold it. They were already taken out here, and maybe there were some people who had longed it, and I'm not really sure. Yeah, maybe over here, and they were taken out right there, and price went high. So it is just a tight range. Then after tight range, we have a false breakout. This is not really a false breakout, but maybe on a lower time frame, maybe like 5 minutes, you'll see something like a false breakout. Okay, let me see 5 minutes. Let me see 5 minutes. Where's Thursday? Let's see what's going on on Thursday. Yeah, here we go. So, you see this? So this was just liquidity being being hunted, and it was a tight range. Let me go back to 15 minutes. It gives me a better view. So after that, you have false breakout. That is now the manipulation, and over here, that's where we had the manipulation right here. We manipulated those highs. I believe this was some London liquidity. Yes, resting above there. We manipulated it. Then price displaced lower, creating this bearish gap immediately, and it went back to that very specific level to give entries, and before the main drop happened. So assuming this was news, that's exactly how it usually happens. And this is how the how the three faces. This is now how the three faces of news move. Okay, but sometimes the news itself will manipulate. After it manipulates from one side, it goes again to manipulate the other side, the opposing liquidity. For example, when you have a news event right here, the news event can come and manipulate these highs. After manipulating these highs, it drops lower, manipulate these lows again. After manipulating these lows again, is now when it now goes higher now to deliver. So it will be tricking people like, okay, we took this liquidity, we're going down. So people keep on selling and selling and selling. Then after it manipulates this low, it starts going higher again, going to stop those what entered here. So that's how the three news, the three faces of news, um, usually 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 work, right? So understanding these economic calendar events is important, but if you, I believe, if you understand the price action better, then you're way good to go. If you understand the price action, like you're able to understand where liquidity is lying, you're able to to mark those specific levels and so on. So that's way better. So when we talk about how to use the calendar to trade gold professionally, before the session, you're going to mark the event time, then expected volatility, then you're going to have a bias, possible directional bias, the macro bias. Okay, because if you don't have bias, then it's like you're gambling. At least you have at least directional bias. So that's the first step. Then the second step, you can now create a time window model whereby after CPI or maybe after any other news, trade only after the after 15 to maybe 30 minutes. Now this will avoid the allo the logarithmic trap, because the trap is usually it sometimes it will attack the liquidity lying above, then comes to the liquidity below before it delivers and so on. So that trap, sometimes you don't know where it's going to attack first, and you can't, and that volatility is usually too dangerous. Okay, then you need to combine things with with intraday structures. For example, liquidity sweeps, order blocks. If you're using supply and demand, if you're using time cycle completion, and so on. So news is just a catalyst. Then price action is going to be your entry model. So price action is way important. Price action is king. So that is going to be it for this lecture. Hope you guys were able to understand, to learn something from it. And in case you have a question, make sure to leave a comment, and I'll be able to see how to get back, and we pick it from there. That being said, make sure to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.